You know, Rick, we're now walking in the hometown of John of Giscala. This is Giscala.
A very pivotal figure in the Jewish rebellion against the Romans.
Yeah, the Galilean figure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is exciting. This is a very ancient Jewish tomb.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more, Eldad.
This is a Jewish tomb, very ancient Jewish tomb, probably the 1st century CE or even before. The owner had his tomb built and then the mausoleum built on top of the tomb. So the sarcophagi which are on top of the mausoleum are much later. We're not sure they belong to the same owner or the same people, even not the same people.
And the tomb itself dates back
1st century CE or even before.
So almost 2,000 years.
Even more.
Even more.
Even more, yes.
Amazing. Well, let's go take a look.
This is the younger part, I believe, of this complex of tombs. Get in. As you can see, we have 2 levels of niches here. It's not against understanding this tomb as Jewish, but it's not so common to have 2 levels of niches. But it's not contradicting the understanding of this tomb as Jewish.
Yes, and this, as you said, Eldad, this was a very rich man.
Must have been.
Must have been, because as you said, this is 2 tombs.
By the way, touch the rock. It's very hard. It's a very hard rock. It's hard work. It's hard work to build it.
Yeah.
And so high that you can see the chisel signs up there. You can see them.
Yes, you still can.
And people
Nearly maybe even older than 2,000 years, as you said.
And people were much smaller than back then. So I don't know why they built it so high, but they did. And it was a hard job, and it costs a lot of money.
Well, Eldad, we are inside part of this tomb, and wow, this is amazing. A lot of burial spaces here. Tell us a little bit more about what we're seeing.
Okay, this is a classic Jewish tomb of the Second Temple era. As we can see, the process of burying begins with this shelf up here, where the family put the body of the deceased for the 1st year. And then, when only bones remained, they collected the bones into the niches, directly into the niches or in ossuaries, just as they could also put the body in a niche for the 1st year.
So the body would lay there for a year until all that remained was bones, and then, and there's about 10 of these here, Eldad, if I'm not mistaken.
Just
if not more.
Just figure out when someone is designing a tomb, is planning to live around generations. As rich as this tomb is, still its highlight is this door, 400 kilos, 2,000 years at least, old door.
And it still works after 2,000
and it works
years.
After all that time. They had very good engineering. And now I'm going to close it. It's heavy. Well, a 2,000 years old door, still running on its shafts, heavy enough to keep the dead in.
They're not going anywhere.
But someone was nice enough to the dead to have this small niche here that I use now to open. Whoa. It's here. It's not a usual thing to touch at least 2,000 years old decoration, but this is what it is. It's the outer circle of a rosette. You can see it here. To do it, someone used a nail to put it here, stuck it here, with a thread and another nail, and then he just pulled it around to make the circle. This is the frame of the rosette. We can see here one petal. It's not a fish, of course. here. And this is what Jews are allowed. This is the kind of art Jews are allowed to perform. In contrast, complete contrast to the fish. So this decoration here is not contrasting the identification of this tomb as a Jewish tomb, but it's in line with Jewish burial custom of the time. This is a Jewish tomb with Jewish permitted burial art, but the other one is not. The other two are not.
With the fish.
Yeah, of course.
This would be permitted, the rosette that we're
Yeah.
seeing, but not the fish
No problem.
on the other Jewish tombs.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
but they are Jewish by the structure. So it's a mix.
It's a mixture.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, Eldad, thank you so much for this trip through the ancient Jewish tombs. Amazing.
Up next, we're staying in the Galilee in one of the most legendary places in all of the New Testament to get some great teaching from Pastor Scott Thomas, Kufi's Florida State Director. You won't want to miss this. It's The Watchman, it's Kufi, only right here on TBN. Don't move.